It feels like every other week there is another crash out online from activists and absolute idiots in regards to good-looking female characters in video games. It doesn't even matter which video games they are from anymore. Like back in 2024, the crash outs happened at more blatantly expressive character designs, such as Eve from Stellar Blade, which was created to expressly look not just good and cool in an action-style game sense, but also attractive and unapologetically feminine. And for anywhere else in the world, this was a perfectly normal thing, especially given the type of game it came from, which was a character action style game. The combat wasn't exactly hack and slash such as Devil May Cry and Bayonetta, but the style of game was precisely that. And in these kinds of games, you're meant to be striking. The male characters are meant to look ripped, good looking, and have a certain degree of sex appeal, and the same happens with female characters. It's not strictly like that. You can have a male character that doesn't exactly have that Dante hat, for example, but it's something that just gels with the type of game that it is. These characters are meant to be cool and expressive in everything that they do. They're not meant to blend into the background or look unappealing. And again, in most of the world this was normal, nothing unlike we haven't seen before nor anything that shouldn't exist in gaming. But here in the West, for the usual suspects who keep wanting to barge into the medium and censor it or subvert it in the interest of some sort of backward socio-political activism, it was seen as bad. It was terrible, it was an attack on women due to harmful beauty standards, and of course it was patriarchal and patronizing because of the male gaze, something that must be absolutely fought against and demonized with insults like incel towards gamers or goonerbait towards the games themselves. All while at the same time propping up the queer gaze with articles like this one praising the sex appeal of queer-coded characters and encouraging queer fandoms to goon away. Oh, make no mistake, the double standard is more than obvious, and at this point it isn't even hidden. It's just there in plain view, and if you disagree with it, then you are the problem. Then, later, First Ascendant came out and had even more sexualized female character designs, causing them to crash out even further. And then finally, at the very closing of the year, in December of 2024, Marvel Rivals releases, with also absolutely zero cringy restrictions when it comes to the presentation of its heroes. Both male and female heroes were presented as ideally as possible. The men were handsome and muscular with various outfits, not being at all ashamed of showing that off, and the women were beautiful and slender or fit or voluptuous. Which of course got them to crash out as well, but only at the female characters, of course. Only those were a problem. You never hear any of these disingenuous lobotomites complain about male character design. It doesn't matter if you're talking about Nathan Drake, Geralt of Rivia, Peter Parker, Kratos, Cal Kestis, Kyle Crane, Leon Kennedy, Kazan, Clive Rossfield, etc. It does not matter. They can be as ripped and as exposed as the developers can possibly make them, and none of these activists will ever complain about unrealistic body standards here, because the female gaze and the queer gaze are a-okay. Regardless, needless to say, 2024 was a bad year for these people. But in 2025 and up till now, things have only gotten worse. Because now you don't even need to have female characters that are explicitly designed to look hot for them to complain and have mass crash outs online. Like you don't need characters like Eve from Stellar Blade and all of those accentuated revealing outfits, nor characters like the girls from First Ascendant or Emma Frost from Marvel Rivals. We are at a point now where these people will attack anything that looks designed to look normal. Excess is no longer the issue. Normalcy itself is. The very basic concept of wanting to make a character that is simply appealing rather than blatantly made to look ugly is enough to cause a crash out. And this is the most normal thing that there is. I even struggle to find the correct word to use here. Like, when you design something, you have various options at your disposal to make sure that the thing that you're designing, which in this case we're talking about characters, comes off the way that you want it to come off, exuding the qualities that you have in mind, evoking the correct emotions from players that you, as a creator, laid out. So if you want a player to feel disgust, for example, you lean on ugliness and eeriness, like the crones of Crookback Bog, which were actually a concept that leaned on two emotions, having them in their actual real form, which is disgusting and off-putting with ugly deformed bodies, and an elusive form where they look like three gorgeous young women to lure people in. If you want your character to look inconspicuous, then you try your best not to make them stand out at all. You use neutral or washed out colors and you make them look average. Average build, average faces, and minimal accessories. This is usually used for background NPCs or for characters that are meant to be important later but currently serve as unimportant figures. Think of, for instance, Scott Shelby in Heavy Rain. I actually shouldn't say anything else here, cause you guys might not have played the game yet. I know that it's old, but I'd rather keep spoilers from narrative games out of my videos. After all, a thing that I do on this channel is advocate for people to go back and play older games. But if you know, you know. As another example, think of Yoda in Star Wars. He's designed to look like some harmless, strange, weak, and annoying creature, and yet later is revealed as a Jedi Grandmaster. Or think of Gaunter O'Dim in Witcher 3. He's just meant to be a merchant, he doesn't look significant at all, and yet later, he turns out to be one of the most powerful entities that Geralt has ever encountered. And now, outside of characters meant to express discomfort through ugliness or eeriness, or meant to be inconspicuous, there's the ones that are meant to be alluring. This can be through beauty or through striking designs that we find to be cool, you know, for lack of a better word. The point is, design intention is important, and we're now at a point where female characters specifically just can't be made to look good at all, either through beauty or through striking design using the kind of outfits that make them stand out, such as armors that accentuate their figure, while at the same time having a feminine figure. The only character designs these people seem to not attack is if they look purposefully bad, made to look ugly or made to look irrelevant, or in a whole other way, made to look and act like men, which just begs the question, why not just make it a man instead? Now sure, there's various cases and degrees, and these types of designs aren't always ill-intentioned. Again, it depends on the type of character you're making and the intent behind the design for whatever type of game that you're creating. I'm able to understand that. I'm able to get the nuance of a situation, but these people are not. They're simply keen on restricting creative freedom and waging a war on beauty and now normalcy. And never mind if you ever come out and say that your intention as a game developer is to make female characters that purposefully look good and attractive. You will literally be attacked by games media. This is happening right now with the developers from Lords of the Fallen, with games media making them sound like horrible people making games for, and I quote, all the wrong people. Fuck does that even mean? Paul Tassi did this, and for the game that we're talking about today, Knight's Path, which we'll get to in a second, he's doing it again. Here he is asking, I feel like every 3 months now, there's a new medieval game positioning itself like this. What's the problem? Positioning itself like what? Introducing a female character that looks pretty? What the f*** is going on here, man? In the screenshot, somebody also asks, will you only be able to play as a dude in this game? And the game answered with yes. Is that a problem too? Well, what about last year? We had Wuchang Fallen Feathers, a Souls-like game in Chinese-style dark fantasy where we could only play as a woman. Was that a problem? It wasn't a problem with me, I didn't cry about it. I don't think Paul Tassi here cried about it either, so why is he crying about it now? There's something deeply sick going on in the games industry, man. But let's continue. Make a game with a female character that doesn't look like shit, and you're making games for the Reich or something. The same thing happened just a few months ago with a new Tomb Raider design for the remake, where these same people launched the same narratives of the character being sexualized gooner bait. And then you look at the damn thing, and it's just a regular looking woman in the classic Tomb Raider outfit with a tank top and some goddamn shorts. Like, what are we doing here? This is utterly ridiculous. This has just been the running theme throughout 2025, with yet another backlash behind any game that dared to not have an ogre posing as a female character. Let's talk about Wuchang Fallen Feathers again, yet another character that just looks like a normal regular woman with a wide array of outfits and armors to wear that will cover up as much as you want. You can play in a full decked out armor, or you can play in a nice little bathrobe outfit. And her body proportions weren't exaggerated either. Again, just a normal run-of-the-mill, fit female character in an action game. She's not sexualized, she's not exaggerated, she doesn't dance for the player like one of the characters in First Descendant, it's just a girl warrior. Hell, you'd think these people would be happy about this. After all, they're the ones always preaching about how there's too many male protagonists and we need more diversity. But it's as I said in other videos, when your job is to be an activist, either your job or your obsession as you spend all day on Reddit, Twitter and Blue Sky rotting your fucking brain with garbage, then it never stops. Progressivism has never advanced enough. You may get a Souls-like game featuring a female-only option as a protagonist who kicks ass and slays demons, but nah. That shit is way too 2016. Now we need her to be built like Shrek and look like she's 76 years old, bloated and ugly because of course. Anything less is appealing to the wrong kind of people. Anything less is too harmful for society with unrealistic body and beauty standards. Anything less that is actually what both male and female players alike want from their video games, especially fantasy ones in settings like these. Just normal cool designs for an action video game is going to merit a f***ing Gunnar approved tag in supposed professional game reviews from supposed gaming news outlets with docked points. In other words, we're at a point where if your characters don't look forcefully ugly and unappealing, you as a game developer run the risk of not only having a mob of mouth-breathing lobotomite Karens smearing your game online, you might also get a whole-ass gaming news outlet negatively reviewing your game because of it. Can someone please make it make sense? Can someone please tell me, how did we get here? And of course these aren't the only instances either. We also had several instances of the discourse being muddied by the usual suspects by making this sound like it's related to gooning. People have made memes like this trying to point to the obvious problem, which is centered on the core of the design, centered on the choice between wanting to make central protagonist characters in fictionalized or action-driven settings that drifts away from the aforementioned intention to look appealing and into one of either looking ugly or just strange. I covered this specifically in this separate video. It's there in case you guys want to check it out because I don't necessarily agree with all the examples here in the meme's image. I'm just bringing it up mainly because of the ops message, trying to take this down a road of gooning and brain rot, which is fucking rich because number one, neither of those characters in the meme have their bodies showing. None of this is about their bodies, none of this is about gooning. It's clearly centered on their faces, and number two, the dumbass who posted this is literally taking nudes for money. And now sorry for taking so long, but let's get to the point of the video, which is the pretty girl in the thumbnail. Now yes, enter this new game called Knight's Path. It's an upcoming indie medieval fantasy RPG that is being attacked for the same shit because they shared this picture in a character introduction post. This is, yet again, just another picture showing a girl's face, not a single part of her body is on display, and yet we have a monumental crash out happening online over just a pretty face. Come on, man, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing, man? I swear, these people are going to drive me into alcohol poisoning. That's what's going on. That's what's happening. This is happening, ladies and gentlemen, on a goddamn indie game that isn't even being mass advertised by a major publisher or anything like that. This isn't even a main industry game, it's an indie game, and even that is now enough to have schizoids spazzing out online. It wasn't enough that was already present in the main industry, it wasn't enough that these people hounded companies to do whatever the hell they wanted. It's irresponsible if you don't represent more people. Oh, this is irresponsible and harmful for the body standards of the world. You are a big company. It is irresponsible. Now we got indie games suffering the same shit, not even a god. Why is that? Well, it's very easy to understand, fellas. You know, they did this shit to the main industry games, so now people are like, you know what, maybe I don't want the latest Ubisoft game. Maybe I'm gonna play indie games, and so now, let's with the indie producers. Oh, for fuck's sake. Some of them, like this guy, like to act like they're smart and go about it from the angle of makeup. The character literally has visible eyeliner, mascara, and lipstick, lol. Why does she look like one of those mods that incels use to make female characters look pretty? Oh my god. You just give yourselves away, don't you? It's incel now. If you're an incel, if you want a character that looks good. I guess women are incels as well. All these girls playing Baldur's Gate 3 and other RPGs, creating gorgeous looking characters. No. Sorry ladies, welcome to the incel club. What else does he have to say? I wouldn't even care if they weren't incredibly hypocritical and plain rude about everything. No modern agenda, and your female character conforms to 21st century beauty standards, wearing makeup that wasn't worn in medieval times? Just say you're homophobic, LMAO. The fuck does this have to do with homophobia? Like, what are you talking about? These people are goddamn deluded, they're insane. This is just brilliant, but let's focus back on these idiotic points attacking the character's design. It's insane to me how you can look at this character and just not get it. This dude is crashing out in his post because he doesn't understand the basic concept of art direction, where you create a character to look the best way possible in subtle, natural ways. Like, let's take Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 as an example. Like, he enjoys the game so much, right? So realistically, they could have made Henry look like a gobshite peasant who looks like shit. Realistically, a lot of men go bald. They could have given Henry a brutally fucked up hairline with scabs all over his face, warts, rotten teeth, and so much more, and he wouldn't even fall out of place because he spent the majority of his life as a peasant son of a blacksmith. And after that, things didn't really get much better either. Like, your adventures in KCD1 aren't those of nobility. Even after being taken into Lord Radzig's service, you spent much of the game as a low-class dingleberry that couldn't even read unless you go and do the side quests that get you that ability. So why does Henry look good? Well, because the developers aren't retarded. It's as simple as that. Why do the women in KCD2 also look good? Same reason. Same goddamn reason. He's a fan of KCD2, why isn't he complaining about that? Realistically, you don't look at this character, her name is Amelia by the way, and you take note of unrealistic makeup. What this character has is digital makeup. Basic features and coloring that allow characters to pop in a natural way without breaking immersion and making them look like an Instagram model or an ugly hog for the sake of the trope that all medieval people were ugly, disgusting, smelly, rag-wearing, wart-having ogres with dirt all over themselves. This is such a tiresome trope, it's actually so delusional that this is something people expect not just out of reality, but out of our entertainment products such as movies, shows, or video games that are meant to sell. And then they act like they're the majority, like they're making fucking arguments from authority. What are you talking about? Point me to the goddamn movie or whatever where characters in a medieval setting or a medieval fantasy setting, main characters look like shit. Point me to the movie where you got like I don't know, Mel Gibson or Tom Hardy or Tom Cruise or any of these other guys, and women as well, of course, looking like garbage, like just looking like shit. Because hey man, it's medieval. And if you can get away with that excuse, you can get away with any excuse. Like even in modern settings, if there's action in it, it's over. Here comes the excuse. Oh yeah, of course, the woman is supposed to look really good, even though she has to be in fights. Like of course, she's adjusting her makeup and adjusting her hair while she's in fights. Like of course, like at that point, it's over, brother. You just got these fucking directors going, hey, Scarlett, yeah, we're gonna have to smear a little bit of horse poop on your face. Just a little bit, don't worry about it. You know, it's for realism, you know, it's for real. Don't worry about it. It's just a little bit, just a little bit of horse poop. It's for authenticity, you know, authenticity. Our audience, they like authenticity, you know.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man.
In what planet are you going to make something like that, spend millions of dollars in the budget, and have your protagonist looking like shit? Like, I'll tell you what planet, it's Broketoon. It's right next to Neptune, where the goddamn sun doesn't shine. Even the coloring is a problem for these morons, citing things like mascara and lipstick. Like, what are you talking about? Have you never seen people walking down the goddamn street? There's no mascara nor lipstick. You can even notice some blemishes around her forehead and her chin. Once again, as a designer, you have various options to portray what you want. So if you want to make someone look sickly or malnourished, you can make them look more pale. You can give them dark circles around their eyes and choose to present them not with a smile but with a drained expression. You can give their eyes bags and you can flatten their lips and cheek colors to not be so vibrant. But of course, if you're presenting a pretty girl, youthful and full of life, then you flush them out some more and you give them a lively warm color around their cheeks and lips. None of this is fucking makeup. This is an average healthy looking girl in an idealized way for a video game, which is the way that you should usually present your primary characters, just like Witcher 3 did with these sorceresses, which actually did have straight up makeup items. After all, makeup did exist in medieval times, just not like the modern ones that we have today. And the fashions were also different, but you know what wasn't different? Soap. They had soap in medieval times too. They washed themselves. Did you know that? Did you know that they have soap? Did these retards know that, or they don't realize that yet? They used to make them out of corpses. True story, well, at least in France in like the 17th century or some shit. It was specifically made out of body fat. But anyway, man, the only thing where I can see some form of a point is maybe the eyeliner, but even that can only be noted on the top eyelid, and can be excused as a girl as just having lush eyelashes, because again, this is meant to be solely digital makeup, not actual makeup. It's meant to simply be a natural way to enhance the look of your characters. It doesn't even matter if it's realistic or not. The realistic angle is just a fake thing that they use to over with. We'll get to that in a second. Both male and female characters should look the best they can for your entertainment product, depending on the setting, of course. Depending on the setting, depending on the context, you know, like remember Cyberpunk and you had that guy that you had to go visit? It's in the quest line where you have to go and find out what happened to Evelyn. And you learn that Evelyn got, like, I don't know, she spazzed out while she was stripping, and then she was sent out to a Ripperdoc, and this Ripperdoc is supposed to be this creep, like this massive freaking creep. Obviously, you're not going to make a creep look good. What did CD Projekt do? They made him look like shit. They made him look disgusting, dude. So yes, it's not a universally applied rule, but it is applied where it makes sense, and this is one of those cases. But again, nuance and common sense are not in these people's libraries, brother. And I'm so sick of them attacking normal things instead of just shutting up, playing whatever games they want to play. If they want to play games with ugly ass characters, go ahead, play some Dragon Age Veilguard or whatever, but just move on. I'm tired of their disingenuousness, the way that they purposefully use your values against you to get what they want. You'll see them bringing up realism, like I was just saying. They will bring up realism in a situation like this to try and justify making your characters ugly or bland or uninteresting, something that already defies reality itself, because no, I'm sorry sweetheart, but not everybody is ugly, and beauty is always something positive to strive for. Even if we're not genetically gifted, it's a good thing to try and look our best rather than just give up. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. So they'll bring up realism to try and justify uglifying characters, but at the same time, they will advocate for studios to shove in contemporary socio-political shit for the sake of representation that just did not exist. They don't really care about whether or not these games are realistic. What are you talking about? Of course not. Hell, they don't even care about these games, period. Their only goal is that these games, even the ones from independent studios just doing their own thing in their own little corners, all bend the goddamn knee to their obsessive bullshit. And the saddest thing is that it often works, because when it comes to being loud and obnoxious, these people take the cake and the cherry on top. They are insane and thus have an insane amount of time to dedicate to terminally online nonsense like hounding studios. They also have zero morals and zero limits. They will go for the throat and reach out directly to developers while simultaneously taking a game and smearing it with the most vile of fucking baseless accusations. This is how they managed to dominate culture for years now, and it hasn't stopped. It sadly never will, at least not while we give them the perceived power that they believe they hold by giving them the time of day and playing their fake-ass optics games. The more of these crash outs I see, the more I want to support Knight's Path and other games like it. Honestly, before the crash outs even happened, I was already invested in the game. Like, it reminded me of an indie KCD with dragons. I'm a sucker for RPGs and medieval fantasy, so I was already in. But with all this going on, it only makes me want to support it even more. Not because they support any agenda of mine, I frankly don't have one. If anything, my agenda is to hunt down and remove any agendas from the games industry, because shit shit has been claustrophobic over the past goddamn years. I wanna hunt down and eliminate every single bit of this cultural poison that makes activists in the industry and game journalists give games bad reviews for things as basic as appealing character designs, and who smear and demonize studios for going out of their way to not include any agendas. Same thing happened with Black Myth Wukong in 2024, by the way. Please never forget how the absence of an agenda made them get attacked by outlets for appealing to supposed toxic crowds, all because a game set in mythological China with talking, fighting animal creatures and gods dared to keep it locked in to the setting instead of injecting diversity and inclusion quotas. This happened, and it has only gotten worse. So if anything, that's my agenda. My agenda is to kick the shit out of these agendas everywhere I see them, mock them, and expose their absolute lack of sense and value. I want to support this game further, not because of any such stupid reason, but because I bet it feels super lonely in the games industry to stand against the ranged mobs on Twitter, who always shout louder than normal, well-adjusted people who often don't even know that these things are happening. The ranged mobs who are so brain-broken they don't even care about going after developers like they did with Lords of the Fallen by banning them from their own subreddit and accusing them of being far-right. There's so many developers out there who really just want to mind their business and make a game, and they get bombarded with people with zero boundaries and zero ways to reason with. That's when the pressure mounts, and sometimes it results in studios doing 180s and giving in to them just so that their developers can cull the hostility and harassment. Hostility and harassment that is often backed by official games media with narratives like the ones that we just discussed in this video. All for just wanting to make the games that they want to make the games that some major publishers out there in the industry don't bother making anymore because they gave in to these people a long time ago. Normal games that used to be made all the time 15 years ago and beyond with blatantly obvious basic decisions such as, I think we should make cool, good-looking characters. Like, holy shit, man, I don't think these were even things that were ever verbal, you know what I mean? I don't think these were ever words that had to be uttered. Because generally speaking, when you're an artist and you're creating a playable character or a love interest character, you will naturally design them in a graceful way that makes them look good. It's just normal. Like I said earlier in the video, even normalcy is too much these days. Even normalcy needs to be viciously attacked and made to look or sound oppressive. It's just so tiring. Anyway guys, that's about it, I just needed to rant and get this out of my chest. Once again, the game's name is Knight's Path. It's a story-driven action RPG set in a grounded low fantasy world inspired by the Holy Roman Empire, so that's why I said to think of Kingdom Come Deliverance's setting, but with fantasy thrown in. However, keyword low fantasy, not high fantasy. Sometimes medieval fantasies tend to lean harder on the higher fantasy side of things, and that's why armors look so crazy and etc. Whereas over here, we're not going to see that. We're going to see things that are much more grounded. The description reads, rise from a nobody to a respected knight through hard-earned immersion progression. Master Hema-inspired combat, which means historical European martial arts, and explore a handcrafted medieval world of villages, forests, fields, caves, manors, ruined castles, and the living city of Erenthold. Help common folk survive harsh times, uncover hidden secrets, political conspiracies, and forgotten lore, and face monsters, bandits, and seasoned knights. Take part in castle sieges both as attacker and defender, join one of two distinct factions, and compete in a nightly tournament that unfolds alongside the main story. Your choices shape how the world reacts to you and define the path that you ultimately walk. It's still in development, but you can wishlist it. Currently, it's only planned for PC on Steam. This is standard with independent projects like this, releasing on Steam first, making sure everything works, and then worrying about multi-platforms later. If it's something that looks interesting to you, go give it a look on the store page. It's definitely something that is right up my alley, and frankly, knowing that these developers actually care about the most basic dumb things, such as crafting appealing female characters to be part of the story and romance options, it only makes me feel more interested. I hope this bullshit doesn't discourage these developers. Like, I've seen my fair share of hate mobs online. It's never a good feeling, especially for people who are non-confrontational. It's a discomfort that slowly builds up tension inside, and it sucks. It can even hinder your damn work to have to put up with it. So if you're so inclined, take a moment of your time and show them some love online. No need to be getting yourselves into toxic discourses though, don't go harass any of these detractors or go piling up more wood into the fire. Honestly, the best thing that you guys can do is just show the studio that you appreciate the work that they're doing. After a year and a few months of content creation discussing these topics, I know a lot of you truly do. Anyway, that's it from me today. More videos to come soon, potentially including another one related to the controversy surrounding this game. But until then, thank you very much for watching, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, dislike it if you didn't, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.